Hey everyone, today we're diving into some absolutely massive XRP news that's going to blow your mind. So buckle up, because what I'm about to share with you could change everything. First up, let's talk about something incredible happening in the futures market. CME Group is absolutely crushing Binance when it comes to XRP open interest, and I mean crushing them. According to fresh data from analytics platform CoinGlass, CME has become the undisputed king of XRP futures trading. Get this, they're controlling a whopping 32% of all volume with $1.47 billion. That's not a typo, folks. Billion with a B. Now, where does this leave Binance? Well, they're sitting in a very distant second place with just $660 million. And Bybit, they're holding down third with $599 million. Here's what makes this even more exciting. CME Group only launched their XRP futures market on May 19th. That's insane growth in just a few months. But wait, it gets better. In early October, CME announced they're rolling out 24/7 trading for crypto futures, including XRP, starting in 2026. CME is absolutely crushing it right now. And here's why this matters. This kind of institutional adoption is going to be a major price driver for XRP over time. This is the real deal, people. Now, here's something really interesting that caught my attention. A European precious metals dealer, swissbullion.eu, just started accepting XRP and ETH for payments. We're talking about a company that deals in gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. You know what I've noticed? It's always the precious metals dealers, the Ferrari dealers, the Lamborghini dealers. They always want to accept crypto. And it's always right when crypto is about to have a massive breakout. Coincidence? I think not. Think about this for a second. Why would you send your XRP to the bank when you could literally buy a Lambo with it, or load up on precious metals? This is just the beginning, folks. Over time, we're going to see more and more companies accepting XRP as payment. Here's where things get really wild. This insight comes from Black Swan Capitalist, and it's about Larry Fink. Yes, the Larry Fink from BlackRock. He just confirmed what we've been saying for years. Listen to this. Every central bank currency will be digitized. Every ETF and asset will be tokenized, and they'll all need a cross-border settlement layer. The plumbing, and yes, he used that exact word, the plumbing of global finance is being completely rebuilt. And guess what's laying the foundation? XRP, exclamation mark.
I would say the biggest question from central banks is, what is the role of tokenization and digitization? How quickly should they think about digitizing their own currency? What does that mean for the role of the dollar? If every currency digitizes and we have, what does that mean for bank payments? What does that mean for the payment companies like MasterCard and Visa? All these are being questioned right now. I think we spend so much time talking about AI. We're not spending enough time talking about how quickly we're going to tokenize every financial asset and the opportunity we're going to have a digital wallet and moving ETFs and other things through a digital wallet. And I think that's going to happen worldwide very rapidly. And I think most countries are ill-prepared for that and underappreciate how technology is changing that, not unlike how technology is changing AI and other things. It will be changing the technology around the plumbing of finance.
Did you catch that? Larry Fink used the word plumbing. That's the exact same word that Ripple's Brad Garlinghouse has been using for years. This can't be a coincidence. I still believe BlackRock and Ripple have some kind of NDA going on behind the scenes. There's just no way BlackRock is going to pass up on an XRP spot ETF. Mark my words, when they file for that ETF, it's going to be the signal that it's absolutely go time. But here's what really got my attention. Think talked about how everything is speeding up. They want to get everything tokenized in a very short period of time. And here's the kicker. Even those Bitcoin ETFs, they're going to become tokenized assets running on something like the XRP ledger. Let me share something technical but absolutely game-changing from the XRP ledger. It's called auto-bridging, and it's pure genius. Here's how it works. Auto-bridging is this unique feature that enhances liquidity for issued tokens, stablecoins, and other pairs by using XRP as a neutral, counterparty-free bridge asset. Unlike the US dollar, this function only kicks in when it gives you a better conversion rate. Picture this. The combined order book is sorted by quality from top to bottom, best to worst. The XRP ledger is literally built to give you the best possible rate while cutting down on costs. It's like having a super smart financial assistant working 24/7 to get you the best deals. And you know what conversion rates usually come with? Fees. But the XRP ledger is designed to minimize those costs while maximizing your returns. Folks, we're witnessing history in the making. From CME's dominance to precious metals dealers jumping on board. From Larry Fink's confirmation to the technical brilliance of the XRP ledger. Everything is lining up perfectly. Now let's talk about something that really sets XRP apart from the crowd. When you're sending transactions on the XRP ledger, you immediately notice something different. Everything was designed with payments in mind. We're talking about a system built from the ground up to make payments faster and cheaper. That's not an accident, folks. Here's where it gets really interesting. Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse made this incredible prediction during a talk with IMF Deputy General Counsel Ross Lechleiter. Brad said, and I quote, "Within a year, I predict that financial institutions like banks will be using XRP in their payment flows." Guess what? He was absolutely right. Though I'll admit, Brad was maybe a little optimistic on the timeline.
So my prediction, about 1 year ago, I actually was here at the Singapore FinTech Festival, and I got in trouble when I went back to the office because the PR team said I had overstepped by predicting that within a year, I predicted that financial institutions like banks would be using XRP in their payment flows. And that was a year ago that I made that prediction, and I go back to the office and everybody was like, "Brad, you're not allowed to say things like that." It turns out I was right. Which I remind the team of. So now as I look forward a year from now, like what are the things that are hard for us to imagine being true? And not even specific to Ripple or to XRP's community. I think one of the things that will surprise us a year from now is that banks will be custodying digital assets directly. And I think right now we think about that and think, look, there's no way that's going to happen. They're too conservative. And I think what you're seeing is, two things happening. One is banks are seeing that a lot of money is being made by digital asset exchanges globally, and banks are profit motivated. The second, and as we've talked about up here, certainly Ross has made very clear, is regulatory clarity and regulatory frameworks enable banks and financial institutions to lean into these markets. And I think we will surprise ourselves by this time. And by the way, I'll also predict that it will be banks in the ASEAN markets where there is this regulatory clarity and there is a lot of progressive forward thinking. They'll be the first to actually allow for crypto assets custody in their accounts.
Here's the thing. The banks are now finally allowed to custody crypto, but they haven't fully leaned into it yet. Why? Because we still don't have clear regulations. But here's what's exciting. Overseas, this is happening much quicker because they already have those regulations locked and loaded. Brad's prediction might have been slightly off on timing, but that timeline is playing out in real time right now. We're literally on the verge of getting proper regulations in the United States. In my opinion, by the end of 2025, they have to get this done, or we're just going to fall behind the rest of the world. And once those regulations are in place, the banks are going to want to dive headfirst into this space even more than they do now. Now, this is spicy. Peter Schiff just said something that's going to ruffle some feathers. He claims Bitcoin's value depends on a growing supply of fools, warning that when belief fades, Bitcoin crashes hard. Of course, people immediately jumped on him saying, "Oh, he's totally wrong. He's just a gold guy." But here's the thing. This is exactly what I've been saying this entire time. Bitcoin runs on pure belief. The belief that it's going to keep going higher and higher in price. But here's the problem with belief systems. They eventually end. All it takes is one cryptocurrency to flip Bitcoin's market cap. When that happens and Bitcoin is no longer the #1 crypto, that belief system dies with it. Then it'll just gradually become irrelevant. Mark my words, utility is going to make Bitcoin irrelevant in the long term. Speaking of interesting developments, we've got a pro-crypto organization backing Andrew Cuomo for New York City mayor as the election approaches. You know what's hilarious? Every single politician who might be losing in the polls immediately embraces crypto. Why? Because they saw exactly what happened in the presidential election. Crypto completely changed that game. This same pattern is going to play out in the midterms. Anyone who's not pro-crypto is most likely going to lose because there's serious money backing these pro-crypto candidates. But it's not just about the money. Americans want innovation to push forward. They want the US to lead when it comes to crypto and innovation. We're going to see this trend accelerate as we get closer to the midterms. Politicians are waking up to crypto power. Here's something that shows Ripple's forward-thinking approach. They just launched an advisory council to advance XRP Ledger, DEFI, and quantum research. Now, quantum computing is going to be a real problem for some blockchains in the future. But the fact that Ripple is getting ahead of this now, that's genius-level planning. David Schwartz has already said that the XRP Ledger will be quantum-proof when needed. He's not showing urgency right now, but they're already working on solutions. That's the kind of preparation that separates leaders from followers. We're still early on this front, though. I think quantum computers are most likely a couple of years away. You're probably going to see the real rise of quantum computers around 2027. And guess what else is happening around that same time? The rise of the new financial system and the rise of AI. 2027 is going to be an absolutely incredible year for technology and finance. I think we're going to see robots in most places by then. You can see how they're fast-tracking AI development right now. It's happening at lightning speed. From XRP's payment-focused design to Brad's prescient predictions, from the crypto political revolution to quantum-proofing the future, we're watching the pieces of a massive puzzle come together. The traditional financial system is crumbling while the new one is being built right before our eyes. And XRP, it's not just participating in this revolution, it's leading it. 2027 is going to be an absolutely incredible year for technology and finance. I think we're going to see robots in most places by then. You can see how they're fast-tracking AI development right now. It's happening at lightning speed. Now, here's something that's got me completely torn, and I want your opinion on this. DNA Protocol Labs' expansion into Tunisia has officially begun, marking their North African rollout. They're onboarding certified labs and clinics to anchor genomic identity data right on the XRP ledger. I have totally mixed feelings about this, folks. On one hand, I'm looking at this like, wow, this is decentralized DNA. You own your DNA, and it's stored securely on the XRP ledger. That's pretty incredible from a technological standpoint. But the other part of me, I'm getting serious digital ID vibes, and I am not a fan of digital ID systems at all. This feels like we're walking down that path, and it makes me uncomfortable.
What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'm genuinely curious to hear what you think about DNA data on the blockchain. Speaking of things that make me shake my head, we've got Senate Democrats demanding answers about Trump's pardon of Binance's CZ. Hold up. What about Hunter Biden's pardon? What about all the other pardons that have happened in the past? And the fact that Maxine Waters is out there championing for this investigation? That's absolutely ridiculous. Remember her? She was literally blowing kisses to Sam Bankman-Fried right before the FTX collapse. Of course they're going to question CZ's pardon while staying silent about everything else. But here's the good news. CZ is now threatening to fight back against Elizabeth Warren and others for all the nonsense they're spreading about him on X and social media. It's about time someone stood up to these hypocrites. And if that wasn't enough political drama, House Democrats are targeting President Trump with a bill to ban lawmakers from owning crypto. But it's not just politicians, it extends to their families too. This is coming from Ro Khanna, who's introducing legislation that would prohibit the US president, members of Congress, and their immediate families from owning, trading, or creating cryptocurrencies while in office. I'm seeing so many mixed reviews on this. Some people are saying Trump's family owning crypto is the reason for all the market manipulation right now. Others are like, I don't care if Trump owns crypto, creates Trump coin, whatever. I just want this market to take off already. And honestly, that's how I feel about it too. I mean, look at Nancy Pelosi and how much money she made in the stock market with insider trading. But here's my take. If politicians want to embrace crypto or stocks, so be it. It doesn't really matter in the long run. Here's what I know for sure. We are crypto investors. More specifically, we're XRP investors, holding utility-driven cryptocurrencies. And everything that's happening right now, all this political drama, all this institutional movement, it's all leading up to the same thing. Institutional adoption. Mass adoption. The rise of a completely new financial system. And what we're holding? XRP is at the absolute center of all of it. So in the end, we're all going to get rich either way. That's exactly how I look at it. Until that happens, the key is to stay patient and keep your eyes on the bigger picture. From robots and AI to DNA protocols, from political pardons to crypto bans, we're living through the most incredible transformation in financial history. The traditional system is crumbling, while the new one builds momentum every single day. Sure, there's going to be drama along the way. Politicians will play their games, regulations will get messy, and there will be controversy. But through it all, utility wins. Innovation wins. And XRP, it's positioned perfectly for this new world we're building. What do you think about the DNA protocol situation? Are you worried about digital ID implications, or excited about decentralized genomic data? And what's your take on politicians owning crypto? Should they be banned, or is it no big deal? Drop all your thoughts in the comments. I love hearing your perspectives. Smash that like button if this content is keeping you informed and ahead of the curve. And don't forget to subscribe for more cutting-edge crypto insights. Until next time, keep stacking, stay patient, and remember, we're building the future of finance together.